Then, hello everyone and welcome to yet another live stream. And oh, sorry. Oh, no one was in chat. There we go. Watching this, or should I go to sleep? Hi there, Autistic Panzer. Hi and welcome. I've set up my water to boil at the worst possible time. If you hear a bunch of hums in the background, don't worry. One of them is my electric kettle, who's electric kettling away. And the other one is the centrifuge that's currently spinning. Hums with a U, like humming, the activity. Hold on, I need some coffee. Alright, that's what it is. I need some, why is there a centrifuge? Well, because I'm centrifuging. Duh! What a silly question. It's spinning. It's actively doing its thing. I kind of started it before the stream, but I haven't really got anything else to do. Well, I have things to do, it's just I wanted to do it in the live stream and it would seem silly to stop the centrifuge. So I just kind of let it keep going. Now this looks like coffee, doesn't it? I'm just drinking a different kind this time. Instead of my typical vanilla sugary lovely thing, I just got instant coffee. Just instant coffee, that's it. Hence why it looks so boring. That's as weird as me getting the US during my federal delegation for the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah. You got the US? Well, that sounds awkward. Nah, you'll do fine. I believe in you. Anyway, everyone, how's your day going? How are you all doing on this fine day? Actually, let me switch back to the other view. That's because right here... Oh, whoops. There's nothing you can see in the other view. Oh, how truly, utterly silly of me. What I mean is that on the other screen... On the other screen, I'm working on the animations. Getting the college next week. Good for you, Dame. Good for you. Carbon option, there's a double one. The trains what we'll need, so we'll need these two. I still haven't finished this video as well, which is really bumming me out a fair bit. Three should have been finished. Okay, but now these two will need a different Elka one. Perfection. I really hope these are the only ones with no, they should be the only ones, yeah, that makes sense. Which means 1, 6 right here, then a 3, is that correct? No, then a 10, and then a 0. That is right. And the 0 turns to 1 as the animation progresses. Why is this a +3? That should not be a +3, gosh dang it! Oh my goodness, that should not be a +3. Damn it, that should be a -3. And I need to re-render. Anyway. Hi the Red Blacks! When is the Model United Nations? There's a little thing which, well, these with the what the UN does IRL. Yeah, I am familiar with the concept. And if they were asking Maker whether he has polished questions on Octonians yet, I am a bit busy at the moment. I got sidetracked, to be completely honest with you. As you can tell. By the way, I don't know much about JAWS, but you can apply a designer, right? What do you mean? Like, just in general, yeah. Wasn't around for yesterday's evening stream. How did the Wopai go? The Wopai, it went nowhere. It went nowhere. Just nowhere, straight up nowhere, and it's upsetting me greatly. That's a lot of bread. I know, yeah, I'm impressed as well. Speaking of Wopai, because we're rendering in the background. Fudge, I just turned off the script, that's not what I meant. Speaking of Wopai, since we're rendering in the background, now is the perfect time to... We're rendering, we're centrifuging, which means we can't actually do much else than research. Okay. That's great. So, MicroPython connect to wireless access point and send data. Worst case scenario, we'll need a TCP connection between the two, which on one hand ain't too bad, on the other hand ain't too great, because if we have the TCP connection, then it just gives us another headache of like confirming the packages and so on and so forth, which means that if the connection between them isn't great, we're gonna struggle, but you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So, we create a socket, and then we connect the socket. Wait. Wait. We'll bridge that when we cross to it. We'll bridge that gate when we cross to it. Okay, that's actually... Taking 2 tries. Connect. Connect. What do I connect to exactly? What's the date type for it? I don't have a URL though. Connections. Okay. Can I just like... Oh, this is a headache. This is a headache. FBI scared of make it search history. Funny enough, my chemicals came in today. All the chemicals I've ordered. Doing fucking car for the first time today. How was it, Italian mapper? I'm getting a permit, that's nice. What's your point of view on love? I think love is a great and beautiful thing. I think love is alive, if anything. I just burned my tongue on coffee, and I deserve that for saying it, by the way. Okay. Connect to remote socket and address. But what is the address type? Can I just do listen and then if there is a connection then accept? Have you ever felt it? Yeah, obviously. Obviously I felt love. Not a complete sociopath. We got handlers making wait for feed pics. Come on. For that you'll need to subscribe on me on Patreon. When Maker says my chemicals came in today, I immediately know he's not on your drugs, because if it were drugs he would just get up saying my drugs came in today. That is true. Wait, did you say love is a lie? No, I said love is alive. A romance is real and love is alive. At least that's what the stories taught me since the age of 5. Isn't life beautiful? Birds in the sky. So glad there's nothing obvious I hadn't realized. Got 99 problems I'm sweeping under the rug when the girl of my dreams comes and gives me a hug. Reblax, it's too early to derail the stream, alright? The centrifuging isn't even finished. So, what's your Patreon make it? Do all of you just skip over the last sections of the videos? I have a... It's linked on my YouTube. Down. But no, I don't have feed pics on Patreon. Trust me, I checked. Okay. It's time to struggle, everyone. It's time to struggle. First of all, let's restart a Raspberry. There we go, beautiful. Look how confident I am, by the way. I don't have any output yet, so I just confidently pressed the restart button, knowing that my past self made it in the ways that it works, and it did work, and that's beautiful, isn't that great? got 99 problems I'm sweeping under the rug. Because the girl Yep. Okay, there we have it. We're back. Now we're back to it, aren't we? Aren't we back to it? That's kind of it. Anyway, I'm going to prepare my position papers. Good for you, Artistic. Derail the stream. The stream is a factorial train. I'm the relay transportation mod. Damn. I thought you were gonna say that it's... Oh damn it, I forgot the lyrics for that part. There was something about getting hit by a train over there. Sorry, but your coffee looks like mud water. I cannot with you. You either say that my coffee looks like chalky milk or mud water. It's... You know what? No, I will not tolerate this. I will not tolerate this. Okay, it's so actually dark in my office that the shade hasn't changed for the camera. Doesn't matter then. Irrelevant. The point is, we're getting sidetracked. The point is, this raspberry is what we've got connected right now. And over here we have the MPI file system, which has access to the boot.py, which is the file we run on the very beginning of everything. Okay. So, wakey, eggs and bakey, time to solve this pitch. Alright. Are those mouse traps? You gotta be a bit more specific there. Buddy, listen, you gotta be a bit more specific. I have a lot of things going on. You need to be a bit more specific what you refer to. I thought it was like chemical, then he said coffee. He drinks chemicals, the vile ones. This coffee was a powder. Trust me, nothing good for you. No good drink you could ever beverage comes in powder form, alright? If your drink comes in powder form, that means I wouldn't consider it healthy. But I'll be damned if it isn't. I'll be damned if it isn't, honestly. It thinks therefore it is, or whatever that French guy said. Okay, so how are we gonna do it? Well, right here, we're trying to receive data with... You hear that? That was my animation. That coffee is a melting pot of Make It's Broken Dreams and a tad hint of depression. Ouch. It hurts because it's not wrong. And then 40, like this. Beautiful. Okay, so. Lovely love, lovely love. Lovely love. Left hand, that probably means she brings love to go. She likes cupcakes, that means she's sweet. I bet she probably likes long walks on the beach. Ooh, data server is equals server. Then make it doesn't even need me to trigger him. Reblax, this song will be playing through my head throughout the entire live stream, you know? It's not like you can just potion of instant damage me with a Drej album, alright? It lingers. Brain trip. Hi, Batman. No. Riddle me this, Batman. I have two links. One where I control the pump. The other. Damn you, Reflex. You're making me lose this. You're not even talking. Your mere presence is affecting me. Okay, let's hear out what Batman has to say. I'm curious. What does Batman have to say? So, I'm not an expert on struggling the situation. After countless hours, I came to the conclusion that keeping ESP connected to a hotspot is a possible cause of random reboots. I was going to search buying a default single copies. I feel like I gave you even more mental health issues. You mean you gave me brain trauma? I'm done. I have two links. One I could control upon the other controlling a microphone, and both USB sockets. So I pulled there's a pretty sure the one. Using social probable common 5 connectivity. Asynchronous, that sounds like the one. Oh, it's the same. Oh, how convenient. Okay. Okay. Jeez, we just need to get through it, huh? By the way, we've been centrifuging for like 20 minutes. I feel like we can turn that bad boy off. Ta-da! Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful clear bottle of piss. Isn't that just something? Oh, there's so much residue at the bottom. Beautiful, that is what you like to see. That is certainly what you like to see. It is so incredibly clear and clean. And there is still a bunch of particles floating around, never mind. We're back to it. Romance is real and love's alive. Is that what no sense? Well, anyway, anyone here an expert in networking with MicroPython? Anyone? I would really like if someone said yes. That would be quite swell, to say the least. No, this kind of resilient mid-cable poor Wi-Fi connectivity in dropouts. Okay, this all seems great. Okay. So, what we're looking for is getting started, right? May I? Okay, not what I meant. What I meant is getting started. Okay, I'll scroll down to it myself, it's fine. Getting started. Library is configured. The Python package is installed is typically located by the path. There's description run with example this. User configured. The local is located on the Python path. Oh, now which one will be more painful? Implementing this myself or trying to use the library? I just realized that there is a continuous hum in the background because of this. I haven't had any complaints from any of you, but just in case, because it might get annoying over time, you know. So I don't want it to get annoying. Let's replace it with something way more pleasant. How about that? When did Mickey get the centrifuge? Recently, I needed it for a video. Obviously. I'm set into everyone's shock and surprise. Oh, my Funimation finished run. My Funimation rendered finishing. No wait, that's still wrong. Whatever. The point is, we don't actually know which one would be easier. Would it be... Because right here what we struggle with is the fact that if we do all of the setup, right? So import this, lovely, activate AP mode. Oh, I am just so gosh dang clever! My goodness, I am incredible. I truly am one of the greatest. Then we have activated the mode, and now if we try to create a socket, so you know, UDP socket. Then we create a socket. Now if we do UDP socket bind 12168 1 port 3636. Curious. I love the way you code. Well, Roblox, I hate that shit. I really hate that shit because it implies I'm the only one you ever need, and I need you to need a lot more than just me. Restart button. Uh-oh. I said restart button. I'm sorry, did you not hear me? I said... You may have not heard me, I'm so sorry. But what I said is restart button, there we go. Oh, see, lovely. Import boot. Then we do the whole thing, then IP is equal to activate, then UDP socket. Is there a way to unbind, maybe? Because that would be it. That would be really close. That sounds like the solution to our problem. So socket close. No attribute close. I would beg to differ, alright? Oh, wait, and there's the socket. Oh, because it was UDP socket. No, that checks out then. No, you get past, that's on me. Może aż muszę być sok. Oh, there we go, that worked. Sweet. Sweet. What even is that? EIO, what does that mean? What does that even mean? Bye, Mickey. Gonna sleep. It's 1 AM here. Let's see you again. China's base king going. Thank you, Darmit. And good night, Darnik. Good night. And thank you so much for joining. Okay. By the way, Phoebe, I gotta say, I love your profile picture. I don't know if I see it. I don't know if I'm seeing it clearly. No, I am. There we go. Yeah. Absolutely love it. Anyhow. Okay. So we got error number 5. Neat. Python socket bind error 5. What does that mean? You just need a different port number. I'm gonna try it. No, that's not what error. Can I just get a list of errors, please? That would be really swell. Why can't these just provide a list of errors? I beg you. Source code. I don't think source code will help. Sample. That sounds tempting. Oh. 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 Oh, indeed. Oh, well, indeed. Try to waiting if it connects, and then if it does in fact connect, then what do we do? Now it's gonna be a bit tricky. Hi there, Sodium. Hi, welcome. If it does indeed end up connecting, now we're gonna need a bunch of while loops, and it upsets me. Because then, if it is connected, right, that's what we check, then we run this while loop, and then this is the while loop that will check if that will get the connection going. So right here we have just a socket that will be just swell. In which case the host will be, well, I think it is. That's what the port will be this. Then we're gonna listen, then we're gonna accept, right? Sodium now one. I remember Sodium, don't worry, don't worry. Don't think I've forgotten you. Data. Let's see. What's more? Hold on, let me. I'm seriously, I'm just in a bit of a how do you call it? Don't think I've forgotten. See? Don't think I've forgotten. I'm sorry, I'm just in a bit of a researching kerfuffle, as if it were. You see. At my last school exam today, chemistry practical, and I remembered how your content always helped. Oh, I'm glad I could help. How did the exam go? And hi, Devin. Make it was the highest amount of concurrent people on the stream, 20 something, or maybe 30. I graduated literally 3 days. Well, good for you, Sodium. I'm so happy for you. I really am. I am new. Is this a fundraiser? Yes, it is. We're collecting money for Prevent Cancer Foundation. To prevent cancer foundations. This is, how are you doing? What is happening? Well, I am trying to. I have 2 Raspberry Pi Picos here. One of them is on this side. The other one you can't really quite see, but it's on this side. And I'm trying to get them to talk to each other, but it's for some reason really struggling with it. How are you doing? I'm not manic enough yet. More free time, more tuning on streams. I appreciate it. Okay, so if I understand it correctly, this is the server, which means the wireless access point right here. The other one is the client, which means this should be this one right here. Now. We listen, we accept the connection. With connection, we then. I'm really struggling to set this up. But what we could do is we could set up in a very simple way for now, you know? We could, hear me out. Oh, if I turn this all off, and then if I don't install a reset button, I'll need to nuke it again. And if I don't know where to reinstall the... And if I don't know where to install the restart button, then I can't install it. There's array. Which one? Okay, so... I could just copy the code over, you know? Let's try it, why not? That's it. I just need it. I need something to work. Symbolic name. Oh, so it doesn't need a name, does it? Does it now not need a name? I am confused, to say the least. I should probably save it as in my WAPI. Okay, if not connection data break, this makes sense. We get an infinite loop. How about... I'm having a real hard time following this code because I don't know exactly in which order Python would execute it. That's because in this case we get if not data break, which would, well, I assume it would mean it breaks out of this while loop. But what does the with mean? Does the with mean that as long as that variable is... Well, see, that's the difference, because in C you don't really have much of a difference between if a variable is used or not used. So does a Python have the ability to differentiate between variables that are used and not used? And does the with mean that only as long as it's used? So is there like a way to deinitiate it? Then would send-all do that? Because I imagine what we want to happen is we want to loop right here until we receive some data, and if we do receive some data, then we want to execute this code and break the loop. However, I just don't see how this would function exactly. If this was continue, that would make sense, I think. No way, because continue would have to skip over. I'm so confused. Oh, with connection, so it only does it if there's a connection. But wouldn't that mean then we need to loop over the entire thing? Wildly confused. Alright, this I'm gonna leave for now. Right here we could do broadcast IP address, I suppose. So we're gonna leave this for now, temporarily. I think, at least, I don't know. I'm gonna plug this in. Hold the restart button. There we go. Ah, the restart buttons are a phenomenal invention of mine, aren't they? So... this is our other side, to which we want to just replace it. Oh, but this is then as a receiver, which means what we would need to do is run the pi right here. I know you can't see, let me just go. We would need to run this pi and then run the code on this one. Which means like this. I mean like this. Okay, object has not read exit. Well, that's... well, that's quite confusing. Socket doesn't attribute socket. That makes sense, makes sense. I'm losing it. Okay. Alright. Okay. Okay. It's fine. I can figure this out. Let's turn this one off. Oh my goodness. So, what's the deal with airplane food, am I right? That's crazy. Truly, truly crazy. Host! Wait, no, that shouldn't matter because we're screwing up on line 5. Oh. Damn it! Why are you messing up on line 5? Why? Socket has no attribute exit. I could be wrong, but I do believe that right here when we create the socket, we do set stuff to be the socket. Okay, it's fine. We can crack this nut. We can crack this nut. Okay, we can do it. It's easy. First of all, I'm assuming that this might be a bit worse, but you know, it happens. Invalid arguments, line 6. S connect host port. Which one is the invalid argument? 192. Oh, is it because it's not connected? Such an idiot. That's why I didn't have the exit, isn't it? Okay. There we have it. This connects it to us. This connects us to the other pipe, which means that if we turn this one on right now, it's turned on. Then if we run this code, the LED should start blinking. The name time isn't defined. You are just messing with me at this point. It's glowing. Well, I mean, don't mind that. That's just the poor connectivity. But the point is that it's glowing, which means it's connected. But then socket has no attribute exit again. Same place. Why would you even? Let me actually see if this code runs forever. Because if it does, that solves our problem. If it doesn't, well, then we got more problems. Ah. So we have got more problems. In the summer, it's go see you next stream. Bye, Average Blue. Bye. Have a good one. Let me have a think. Okay. Why doesn't this Raspberry have the client side? Hi there, Adrian. Hi, welcome. This should have the client side, this should have the server side. I really thought we'd gonna have a productive stream today, you know? I really did think that. What a fool I've been. Why did it say receive from? Shouldn't that just be receive? I don't. You got this. I really am losing faith in myself, CMX. I really am. That's because if I run this code, then like it looks promising on paper because it's running right now, which it should be. And as soon as I connect this Raspberry, what should happen is this. Oh wait, no, because the code isn't there, right? Need to save this. Okay. Now, if we go to toggle the thing. Oh, my voice is cracking. Then if we just do the send right here, save it, perfect, this is our send code. If we unplug it, then if we plug in this one, hold the restart button, it's running, beautiful. Now what we can do is we can hide the clan. You don't know how my favorite wizard is doing. My incantations aren't summoning anything, and it's honestly taking its toll. If we run it now, you can see that. Hold on. Oh, this is because it ran the wrong boot. Jeez. There we go. Now if we run the boot, you can see that it's running. We got the IP addresses, which is correct. Now we're getting empty brackets. That's because if we turn this one on, then... Wait, it's gonna wait, and it's gonna run. And when it runs, LED turn on. Boy, that does not feel like 5 seconds, does it? Is it blinked? Blinked again, it just turned on, it connected, and now everything breaks. So we have managed to connect this Raspberry to this Raspberry wirelessly. But you know what we can't do? You wanna know what we can't do with this system? We cannot send any data from this Raspberry to this Raspberry, which completely reduces the entire process and makes it completely pointless and meaningless. Whatever, I wanna burn something right now. I really would like to set something on fire. Give me a second. I'll be right back. My water glass still outside. Vexes me even. I wonder what was that noise? Oh well. It's a fair bit dirty actually. What is it supposed to do anyway? I'm supposed to be able to press a button next to this raspberry, and the LED next to this raspberry should light up. That's it. That's all there is to it. But I can't crack the code for some reason. For some reason I just cannot seem to crack the code. Pun intended, I suppose. Well, not intended. Purely accidental. I'm just that talented. So it connects and then on the receive it breaks. Have you got to connect to the other Wi-Fi? Yeah! Hi Detefta! Yes, I actually have managed to. I did that last stream in fact. But I cannot send the data between them and it's driving me mad! What's wrong with it? Well, allow me to show you. Hold on, I need to... So you see, I plug it in, I hold the restart button, and it's connected. Oh, this is so satisfying. Every single time this button works, it is mwah, the peak of satisfaction. Then I go in right here, right? We go in right here, I go ahead and run this code. There we go, it just started. It's printing all of the connected devices to it, which means it's printing nothing because nothing is connected. Then what I do is on the other side, I power up the Raspberry, and we need to give it some time because it should be 5 seconds, which is quite a lot. So it's going, and then 3, 2, 1, LED should blink a bit. I really should delay it. I mean, delay it less, because the 6 seconds are killing it. You're killing me as well. It's a lot of time. Any second now. It's really taking its sweet time there. There we go. It blinked. I think it might have not been powered actually. And there! It connected! Isn't that lovely? Isn't that great? If only I had a way to actually use this. I'm fine. Love is alive. At least that's what the story told me since the age of 5. Isn't life beautiful? Bats in the sky. So God, there's nothing obvious ahead in real life. There is 99 problems I'm sweeping out. I'm losing my mind. I am just straight up losing my mind. I need more coffee because I will not survive like this. How do people live like this? I am falling asleep. The shadow work is really telling a story though. It really is. Okay. Anyone got any ideas? Because if not, then I just need to go down the rabbit hole and figure this out. My test code, right? Maybe it's the IP address at this point. Have we done any changes since we changed the IP address? I can't recall, but might as well. 255, the broadcast. I just realized I'm changing. Wait, why does the server need the IP address? Can I not just do a blank? Feels a bit odd. Okay. Oh, I just realized I can't actually save the boot. I can't actually save the boot into it because, well, it's disconnected. It's stuck on the receive. The receive ain't receiving. So satisfying every single time. Okay.
What's the loop that it's in?
Oh, the loop that is actually, well, the loop that it's in is just, hold on. Here we go. It prints all the connected devices, and then if it is connected to a device, then it just does the receive, and then it prints the data. I just changed it from receive from to receive right now, but it used to be receive from. And basically this is the line that stops it. Line 23.
Yeah, it should hold there until it receives a packet.
Yeah.
And you can set the timeout, I think. There's a timeout parameter. So you can do that. That looks like it's good. Let me see if I can test one on my end.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the only thing is, you could do it in a timeout that said, hey, no message was sent. That way you just know that loop is working. It's something I would do just...
I'm just going to do set timeout because I mean this does everything. That's because now if we nothing to stop, well that's a curious problem that we're having. That's because the Pi is certainly connected. I am certainly editing a file. Hi the Theo. And welcome.
Is that the sending code?
Is that what?
Oh, that's the same one. Okay, yeah.
Okay, there we go. So now I've set timer to a 2, which I'm assuming means 2 seconds. And I'm gonna run the code. Well, actually, I'm not gonna run the code. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna plug in the USB to the other one. Ah, but we would like some kind of debug on this, which means another diode, I guess, another LED. I don't think we've had enough LEDs. We need more LEDs.
You could always make a function that, like, makes it flash really fast 4 times or 5 times. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah, but flash what?
Just flash on and off with time.sleep is like 0.05 versus like 0.5 flashes.
Like flash an LED?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, but that's why I'm adding LEDs.
Oh, okay.
I just, prefer to like reduce some ambiguity in this case. I don't want the problem in this case to be me not seeing that the LED is flashing, because that would suck for me.
Yeah.
It's Raspberry Pi and scummy watchguards in the breakpoint time. I've just set it on fire, Theo. I was going through something, okay? I was going through stuff. It's so fun now I have a camera. I can just set stuff on fire. You know, it's an interesting thought. There are no laws against it, and it's your own apartment. You can just set stuff on fire if you want.
It's my apartment, and I'll set fire if I want.
Exactly. So pin 1 wasn't used. My goodness. Well, that's a curious problem. What is your problem now? Is it that you're not plugged in? That would be quite upsetting. Toggle. You're definitely not glowing. Am I doing it on the wrong side? No, I'm not. I'm sorry, is this... No, the LED is not burnt. The most trouble thing in my room, why would I need more? Oh, now it works. So it's just like Random. That's good. No, I sure am glad then that my thing that's supposed to be extremely reliable for telling me when the debug is happening is just also sometimes randomly on or off. Okay, so that's one. Six. Then pin number 6. Okay, so we've got pin 1 and pin 6 that can tell us the outputs. So I imagine if it gets here, we want pin 1 to turn on. That will let us know that there is a device connected. And then how do I check if there has been an output? Like if data?
Well, yeah, so you have data address equals UDP packet receive. So then just append to an array. Have the array be empty at the beginning, and then once it does, append the array with the variable. So then what you do is you just check the length. That's
yeah, but then wouldn't it just fill it in with empty variables?
No, because it will actually hang up on that data address equals. I think it. Yeah. So how UDP packets work is it should halt everything else while it's listening, and you can't do anything until it receives a packet.
Yeah, but I've set a timeout.
Now that you received a timeout, at the end of that, I don't think it will return anything. I don't know if data will equal anything, or it might equal false.
So if
you might want to just print data and see what it prints before you.
You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna check it for now.
So what would it be?
Alright. Oh! My goodness, I forgot the other one was on and already trying to connect. How convenient. Okay. It connects instantly and then it breaks. Oh! No! Timeout just breaks it! The entire thing! Like, oh, not breaks it, was the, you know in what way I mean break. I don't mean like break as in broken, I mean break as in break loop. It like terminates it. There we go, that's the word I was looking for, jeez.
Yeah, well put timeout like 10. See if that works.
I mean, it's not really gonna matter because I've sat here for like 30 seconds, solid 30 seconds last time, waiting for a response, so... Yeah, now we're just gonna wait like 10 seconds. Don't need them timeouts, yeah.
Oh, it does, okay. Because sometimes there could be like a hidden minimum or something.
It's either LED or used for electronic debugging. That is what we need in life. We don't need just a USB connection. We need a bunch of beeps and boops and flashing lights. That's how we used to do it back in the day. Anyway, Tefta, I didn't mean to interrupt what you were saying.
Oh, no, you're fine. Yeah, no, I've come into this. So sometimes I just do a try except there.
Yeah, my lack of Python knowledge really messes with me in this case because I imagine it's try this, right?
Yeah, try and then colon, and then it's a tab in. It's like a if-then statement, but it's try, colon. Yeah.
And then except. And then...
Yeah, and then you can do except E as error, exception, capitalized. 1 second.
E as...
Micro Python E as exception. That way you can at least have the variable tell you.
Make its knowledge is utterly snakeless.
Yeah, exception as E. And I'll paste that in the chat here. That way it will put whatever the exception is into the E variable.
Okay, and then print E, I imagine?
Yeah, and then you can print E and it will at least tell you
what
the exception was. And this is a way to...
No, file 20, line 25, this is screwing it up. Invalid syntax.
Oh, so yeah, just do try colon and then you have to indent the next.
Oh,
the
so,
print
so
data,
like
the
this.
data, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
There you go. There you go.
Well, it is trying it.
Yeah, and now it will. It should give you an error each time.
It
You
gives
still
timeout, yeah. I mean, oh, that is a much better way of doing it, actually. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So now you can see what the output is, and
I
you
can
just
disable the timeout right now, actually.
Yep.
With the timeout being 10 seconds, the restart button is...
That's funny.
Yeah. I do hold it for 10. There we go, I finally got there in the end. It's so funny to me that it says keyboard interrupt. Like, not really, close enough.
Well, you could probably set up a proper interrupt.
I could, and I looked into it, but then I realized that there is no actual point. Because this works just fine. Like, I'm gonna amend this code and change it anyway. Eventually, I will do it cleanly. Now, I did just save the code we just made. That's because if I run it now, I'll have to nuke it if it doesn't work.
Ah.
Yeah. So, like, the only thing we'll be testing right now is just endurance testing a bit, because the only way I can see us going forward is just waiting with this until we get something.
Yeah, so its address is 192.168.4.1. So on the other one, you should just be able to send a packet just to that address. Because it's opened the socket.
On the other one, I am sending to this precise address.
Perfect. And can you show me the receive code again?
Yep.
Well, that says it's it's opening up a socket and you're binding it to 255. Why are you binding it to 255?
That wasn't that the broadcast? So I need to bind it to 4.1.
But you're receiving on this one, right? This is the receiving code.
Yes.
So you would just bind it to its own address, number one.
Okay.
And then you also have different ports. The other one had a port 36. This has port 3636.
Wait, did the other one have 36?
Yeah, it only had 2 digits for the port.
36. Okay, yeah, because one of the things I tried is I tried like changing it to see if the 4-digit port, if the 2-digit port was a problem.
But change that 255 to a 1 because you're listening on your own address.
Okay, hold on, I need to nuke it again. Oh, it's the little things. I feel so useless because I've just spent 2 days and got almost nothing done. That's mainly because all of the things I've learned are just like very little things.
Yeah.
Which will improve my life in the long term, but in the short term it sucks because I've got nothing. Nothing to show for what I'm doing. There we go, alright.
My guess is in 5 minutes we'll have it.
Don't ever say that! Listen, just 5 more minutes.
A turf to 5 minutes, not a make it.
Listen, on this channel, the term just 5 more minutes has a really bad track record. Alright.
I left out the word more.
Run. Okay. It connected? And now we wait.
And then the other one is sending?
Should be. I can double check the code on the other one just in case I messed up and actually has like 3636 or something.
Yeah. Would also be interesting to see if we can make the LED blink every time it sends something.
Well, I mean, if we get that far, then that's kind of, we've done it. Because...
Oh, that's right, that's right.
Yeah. that's the last step. Okay. Right.
This is like a journey. This is kind of fun watching you do this. This is actually so much harder than it looks. Like, it seems like it would be simple, but it was like the biggest headache that I had encountered, and I almost wanted to give up multiple times. But once you get past this,
I can relate. I can. You know what I can do is I can try plugging this in and see if this code does something different. I just realized actually Sending them. Let me
Yeah,
actually set
that's a
this
good
up as a
idea.
loop. Set make
Power
it
the
0.3.
rocket byte 0 to 4.0. Yep.
1, 2. Yeah, okay, line 32. Wait, line 32 just got an error.
Yeah, so it doesn't like how it's sending.
Oh, the host, it didn't reach the host because it was off. That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Well, it not reaching the host again, that's actually a bit of a pickle. Because I just turned it on. That's a bit more of a pickle. Okay, that's starting to be a bigger and bigger pickle with every passing second.
But it's so weird that you get a host unreachable. Oh, it's because you're not connected. But why would you be trying to send? You should be getting an error if you're not connecting. So you should be stuck in the while loop, right? So that's what doesn't make sense. It shouldn't get to that code. It should be continually trying to connect. The fact that it's trying to send a packet without having a connection, something's off.
Yeah, right.
Right? So
So it's kind of
why
like...
the heck is it
So
popping
it's
out of that?
lacking connection on the socket, not the LAN.
Yeah, but it shouldn't even run that code, right? Like, it should be stuck in that while loop that you're at right
Yeah,
there.
but what I'm saying is that if it like connects on the LAN, but the socket somehow doesn't realize that the LAN is connected, then it would go through here, LAN being connected, but then the socket would fail because it wouldn't be. That's the only idea I have for what could be happening.
Can you do me a favor and then on line 30 add print YLAN is connected? I'm just curious and then try running it again.
Print.
YLAN dot is connected.
Oh, you think I messed up the Boolean operator? Because I could have.
No, I don't. I'm curious why the heck
it's not. Ah, yeah, I suppose you. Hold on. Let me...
So why the heck is it even printing that? That's why I'm like, why is it popping out of that while loop?
Well, this is false. You see, you should have doubted me actually. I did mess it up. I think at least. There are a lot of negatives in that.
Okay, so if either of those two, there we go. Yeah, but
What doesn't make sense is that on
why is it true?
it's pretty true because it is connected now.
Oh, okay.
But
okay,
there's
that's
another
fine.
thing that doesn't make sense. With this broken code that I had, why would it connect? Because it connected previously. Unless it didn't. But then why would it be... I don't like networking. This is awful.
Can you do me one favor and then every time that you have the while and you send the packet, you would print to console? Sent packet?
Oh, hold on. One thing I wanted to test first.
Why the heck that thing is...
I wanted to see if right now it would actually work. Because if it was like... It doesn't make any sense because this one was showing that was connected, which means it must have been.
Yeah, so now it forces it to connect.
Sorry.
It's awesome.
Because disconnected, yeah, that's... Oh, infinite loop, right. No, that make... Yeah, nuke it. I forgot.
That's funny.
I can't wait till I'm like a month or 2 months into working with this whole thing, and then I just have all of these tools where like I'll have a dock that will be constantly connected to the Raspberry Pi. It's just that I'll have a bunch of buttons on the dock, and like one of them will just flash it with Nuke, the other one will flash it with MicroPython, yet another one will actually connect it to the PC, and so on and so forth.
All because Make It doesn't want to use Thonny.
All because I don't want to use Funny. I need my colorful text in.
That's a lot of extra steps.
But I mean, but can you imagine that kind of deck? That would be sick. Just like buttons you can press and then just nuke it. It's great. Okay.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yes, that would be really neat. Connect all of this, right? Toggle this. Put my. There we have it. Run the
Make
code.
It is making a wireless transmission over Wi-Fi packets
It's kind of
using a UDP protocol.
it's kind of awkward to explain what I'm making because this is a learning experience, which means that there isn't actually a clear, simple project at the end waiting for us.
Making memories.
Oh yeah, it's about the journey and the destination, exactly. So the goal right now is to figure out how to do it. Because then once I'll be able to do it, that means I'll be able to wirelessly move information between anything I make, which is an incredibly useful thing. So useful that so many examples. Anything from any kind of controller to, well, any kind of controller is kind of enough already, but. That's curious is not connecting now. And I do believe it has been enough time, unless, once again, just taking a piss. So Wi-Fi router. Funny enough, this one is functioning as a Wi-Fi router.
And a server. Yeah, both.
And the server. This is comically small for such a mighty task. Okay, this is a worrying time. This is a worrying amount of time for it to be running without a connection. You know what? While we're here, I think what we should do. Oh, can I not stop? I'm gonna lose my mind. Wait, is there a... No, wait, the reset button should work. Oh, it does work! I'm an idiot. Okay, while we're here, what I think we should do is we should have this LED flash on... Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have this LED flash on each iteration of the loop.
Yes.
And then if something connects right here, then oh, I got it backwards. The first one was supposed to be the connection. All right, so the second one, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so the sixth one will flash on every iteration of the loop. I need to hold them down with something. There we go. It's flashing on every single iteration of the loop. And then once something connects, which I can test easily with my phone. My camera just died. Hold on. Whoops.
Oh no.
Panic mode. Oh, it sounds panic. Oh, I don't know why I'm panic. Okay. Quick, everyone, remember to panic! Quick! Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Oh gee willikers. Oh, shucks and dagnabbit. Oh gee. Okay. Oh gee willikers. Oh gee willikers. Give me a second. I'm almost there. Where's the... Oh, that's where the battery's right. This... Okay. Okay, I think we're back. Turn the
Nice.
battery into the thing. Is the OBS running? It is. Okay. Oh, I'm back. All right. That really scared me for a second, but the point is LED is blinking, which is good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, now we just turn everything back on. Sweet. So
And your camera's safe from the flame, right?
Yeah, probably. I have melted the plastic here a bit, but I mean, well, it was funny in my defense. No, that's a lot of that's a lot of smoke coming from plastic. Anyway, the point is.
And the camera? Like, well, I'm just worried about the camera.
No, it's like there's plenty of space here. I can move my hand.
Okay, good.
That's the ultimate test, isn't it? If my hand
Yeah.
doesn't burn in between the flame and the camera, that means we're good. Okay. Right. Now, oh yeah, what I was doing is I was trying to connect to it using my phone. That's because if I connect to it using my phone, then the other LED should actually turn on.
Ah, yes.
I'm so glad I can just connect to it using my phone because that's so helpful for troubleshooting. I can simulate connection without having to connect using a Pico. Alright, I'm connecting.
And then one of the LEDs stopped flashing.
That is such a comical opposite of what's supposed to happen. Why did this happen?
Maybe it took so much voltage it powered itself off.
It detected that something was connected and it got stuck here again. That's where it got stuck. That actually makes
Yeah, I was
a lot
waiting
of...
for a packet.
But then shouldn't
Yeah.
the other LED turn on?
Well, it will just stay there forever. It's not going to even go to the print data.decode until data exists. Because inside of UDP socket might as well be a while true loop. Or while data, you know, while not data or something. So once data exists, it won't return anything. It's a loop function. So it's good. So it means that it's successfully connected, but usually it prints the user that connected, right?
I'm just gonna try it again. Oh my code broke again. I need to restart it. There we go. Now we run it. Then the LED is flashing. That's good. I just realized my code is off. Then if I connect to it,
It should stop flashing.
it's
And
still...
then yep, there we go. And it prints and then timeout. Okay, there we go.
And the
That's
pin 1 light up though.
I don't know.
This pin just didn't... That's a bit of a pickle because it's pretty important for debugging later on. I'm just gonna plug in another one. It's a curious problem to have. Oh, it is lighting up a little bit, but that's a bad sign.
Okay, so it's printing.
Okay, but we'll know that something connected if this starts flashing way slower. Because if it only flashes
Yeah,
every
see?
2 seconds, then... yeah, that means we got that. Should I keep the timeout for like
Yeah,
any timeout?
it's not a bad. I mean, just because it's Yeah, I would keep it. The problem is that in the brief second in between the last listen, there's gonna be a gap, but it's so like super fast that 95% chance that all packets will be captured.
I'll take that chance at this point. The keyboard interrupt button didn't restop, did it? No. Okay, so now we connect it backwards. Again. Good. Do I need to restart? I don't even need to restart it. Perfect. Your vids are amazing, by the way. Thank you, Ingi. Thank you. I appreciate it. Alright then. Well, we're back to the pickle. So right here, what we can do is we can turn this one on actually, in the meantime.
So while that while loop where you have the UDP packet send, because you're plugged into that one, why don't you just print packet send just to make sure that it's doing
how do you print when it's like
at the very end after the time.sleep? Yeah.
But then what?
Yeah, just at the very end. Yeah, that print packet send.
So like
that works too. Yeah, just
send?
after one of the sends. That way we know that.
Like this?
Oh no, just like as a string that it just prints to the console.
Oh. Packet sent. Okay.
It's silly, but this way we know that it's getting into that loop and it's saying packet
It couldn't
sent.
connect to the host.
Okay.
Curious because I thought we fixed this problem. How
We
did it get?
reboot the other one.
I know it's difficult to see, but the LED is actually flashing. It's just very, very dim. You can see kind of on my finger, but.
Oh, okay.
So this one is actually running.
I would reboot it anyways, just in case.
Yeah.
And make sure the LED starts rebooting, starts flashing again.
It is flashing. Good, so now this one we run. There we go. Packet sent.
Okay. And so what's the other one supposed to do if it receives a packet?
Well, we haven't got that far. We haven't.
But what's good is that...
You see this diode that's completely oh, you can't see it. This diode that's completely disconnected?
Yeah.
Well, this should be flashing.
That's super helpful.
Technically right here, between these two, it should be glowing, but it doesn't really matter because it wasn't working before.
So we know it's sitting there, and we know it's setting to 192.168.4.1.
But you know what? Hold on, because what we can do actually is we can unplug this, we can unplug this, we can plug it backwards, and then we can just check it from the other perspective, and then we'll know what's receiving.
That's a good idea. And we at least know the other one's sending packets and not doing an error, so...
I know who came up with this reset button, but they have a head on their shoulders. That's really, really clever, I gotta say. It's really smart. Wow, just convenient tool. It's great. Hi, the Black Thunder. Welcome. Oh, I need to reset my code as well. Jeez, every now and then the button on the bottom gets stuck. It thinks it's running, but it's obviously not running anything. And so as such, just... Well, the point is we got here, right. Now we run the code. And there we go, it's working. And if we turn this one on, then tries connecting. But since it's not working right now, I'm guessing what means that it missed the connection. So I'm gonna start again. Okay, twice in a row, that's kind of It's not promising. But 3 times in a row. You know, they say.
But there is a time not sleep, right?
I don't remember actually if I copied the time to sleep.
There is a one at the
1
end.
second.
Yeah.
You know, 2 seconds.
And it might take a couple of times to reconnect.
Okay, well, we can wait, I suppose.
And you don't have a laptop, or you don't have a second USB cable. That's why you're not plugging into both.
I mean, I do have a laptop, but the issue there is that you wanna know the brutal truth of why I'm not using a laptop?
Huh.
It's because if I use the laptop, then I would have an output that wouldn't be visible on stream. And that would just make this way more confusing. Like, this is annoying me a lot, but at the same time, it's quite entertaining. A limitation, isn't it? Because you can only read the output from one of these, but you need to know the output from both. Unfortunately, as much as I hate it about myself, I am a content creator first on these streams.
Well, what you could do is you could, if the other one receives a packet, the one that's an access point, have it turn off its own Wi-Fi and then broadcast the message as the new SSID. Right? So you can literally have...
so you can see like a new... Yeah, but there's
point.
a problem because the SSID doesn't actually work. The name always stays the same, yeah. That would be really clever.
It's so weird.
I've changed it on both of them to Pico 50E5 because that's what it was. Getting set to every single time. I couldn't help but notice that this isn't turning on. Is it the typical case of I need to wiggle a little bit to just... until it just powers on? Because maybe I'll just need like a bit of a push. Get it going. Because the LED isn't lighting up. It's getting me worried. I'm having fun. This is an enjoyable way to spend a Friday afternoon.
Tuple.
So restart the connection. It's right here. Okay, this
Got my
is
own instance running now.
this is a really worrying sign. I can't plug it in at all. Oh shit!
Is it burnt?
oh, that's hot. That's okay. Good. It's good. It's good. No, you know what? This is actually great. You know why it's great? You know why it's good news? It's because now we can use my backup Raspberry Pi Pico 2W, which is great.
Yeah.
Time. Anyone was counting down how long it would take me to burn down the Raspberry Pi Pico? Because we've done it. I don't
Probably
even...
a nice fancy paperweight.
Yes, I mean, I do kind of want to keep all of the Raspberry Pi Picos I've burnt. By the way, if we need another replacement, then there's gonna be a Pico because I don't actually have another. I don't have another 2W, so we need to use a 1W.
That should be fine.
With the full
especially
I've been,
since it's
this
just,
is also 1W.
clay.
All of these are 1Ws. This is a 2W. So that's a long-winded way of saying I have replacements.
Yeah. Well, the 2Ws you'd probably definitely want for the access point.
Yeah.
But I think the client side one is fine. one.
Client side, fine. Just in case. I'm not saying I'm trying to conserve my tools, but like, obviously I'm trying to conserve my tools. There are Raspberry Pi Pico tools. Also, another thing I have, yeah, I don't know if I've shown you this stuff though. I've ordered it a really long time ago. Is that I've never had an opportunity. This is the same chip.
Oh wow! It just has a whole bunch of.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of connect. Yeah, it's basically like a tiny bit more. I don't know if ergonomic is the right word to say it, but
The footprint is smaller.
yeah, exactly. It's in between using the actual chip and using a breadboard. If you don't want to build something using a breadboard, but at the same time you're not ready to actually solder this SMD, then okay, this time let's do it proper.
If you had a second USB cord, you could plug them both into your computer and have one be on one port and one on the other, right? Couldn't you do
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I could.
Okay.
I mean, I can go and look for another USB cable if you want, but I mean,
No,
isn't this more fun?
I was just curious. Yeah, it's one of those things that gnaws at the back of my head.
No, don't worry. If I actually really wanted to connect both at the same time, I could easily. Yes. As much as I hate this is a choice. it's not too much of a limitation. But what's really nice in this case is that I am a bit upset. Like, they're not that expensive, but it's kind of like having a pet snail and the snail dying. Like, you know, it's not the same as if my PC died or my laptop, but it still like stings.
Yeah.
I like Raspberry Pi Picos. Okay, but it's actually not bad because now we can rethink. Wait, hold on, because my table is still a bit wet. There we go.
I'm sure the fire had nothing to do with that.
I mean, it's pretty. What do you mean, the fire? Something to do with burning my Raspberry Pi Pico? No, those two events are. In my defense, it was pretty funny. Okay. Well, I need to redo the cabling on this, so if anything interesting, any interesting topics you wanna talk about, get off your chest.
Oh, so I need to figure out how to glue a piece of Velostat, which is like plastic, onto a flex ribbon cable. But the problem is I don't want to use conductive glue because the material itself is a variable resistor. So I was thinking about like gluing different things, because I have 60 sensors. I have 15 columns and 4 rows. I was thinking maybe I could try different glues on each column. Do you think that's a good idea?
Different glue as a test, you mean?
Yeah, and like to see if it still can read from that column.
Recently sounds like the only, because I mean, that's quite a pickle. That's a very specific problem.
Yeah, it's the one I'm gonna try to work on this weekend.
I think testing is very obviously the right option here, because I mean, I obviously know nothing.
I don't either because I have no clue. Like I haven't used this material before.
Outer side is the life. Okay.
Because blue and red are.
I wish I had some singing music for these streams. Usually when I work off stream, I always sing. It helps me with insanity. But here
I usually listen to podcasts. I usually listen to you.
Well, I mean, I also listen to me when I work, so... These pre-cut cables are so convenient. I know that the main reason why I got the cables in the first place is to cut them myself, but the pre-cut ones are saving quite a fair bit of time with this kind of prototyping.
That's awesome. I've not used those before, but they're probably super handy. Because it's easy to like clip the core, and so sometimes if you bend it, it will pop out and you don't even
Yeah,
realize
that's
it.
so annoying.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it looks like it's connected, but literally the vertical piece of whatever copper or silver metal
Yeah,
is
basically
just next to
instead of taking off the
dot.
jack as like the normal cable, you want to like cut it until you feel a slight bit of resistance. Because if you apply any pressure, then it's going to compress the core, and then
Yeah.
with any minor twist, it's gonna snap.
Yeah, and it just that sucks. But those pre ones, they probably bent them nicely.
Yeah, all of these work so far. Now it should be connected to power. Beautiful. Then LED. Perfect. This should be connected. I just realized I put it a bit too far back, because the reason why this one is so far ahead is so I can plug in the USB cable easily. It's funny, the LED on the power supply lights up no matter what because it's getting powered by the USB.
Oh yeah, because it's
That is pretty funny. Okay, it should just now... Wait, did it not flash manually? Don't open up the website. I have the I have the file, don't worry. This is not my first rodeo.
It's his second.
At this point, I don't know which one it is actually. I have a lot of raspberries. I'm losing track. Sorry, are you keeping connection? Disconnected. Why can I run code and disconnect? No questions, too many questions.
Well, it seems like you've already invented the wireless.
Witchcraft. My favorite way of wireless communication.
The Bluetooth garden hose!
Okay. That's curious. I'm not getting a connection. I'm not getting it.
Does it come with MicroPython or CircuitPython?
Shouldn't. Well, it shouldn't really matter in this case because if I do it in boot cell, it should pop up all the same.
Yeah, that's correct.
Doesn't.
Is that one you fried in the past?
This one should be new. I just took it out of the package. Oh no, wait, this is not the new one. It isn't getting hot. Okay, it might be getting hot. Or it might be just me.
Could be normal temperature.
Okay, I don't think it's getting hot. Curious problem I'm having. Because code detected it connecting. Found Pico in boot cell mode, yes. But yes, flash it. Flash it. Oh, so it like... Okay, so it comes preloaded, able to flash the Raspberry Pi Pico W's, but not the two W's.
Aha.
There we have it. finally. Okay, send copy remote workspace boot .py. Okay, everything here should be fine, right? Nothing wanted to change. 36, which it also is here.
Yeah.
36, which means
Well, just that you print. Just double check. No, because you had the loop there. So look at the is connected doesn't equal false. That's old code there. That while is connected needs double equal false.
Did I not save the code before burning my... That's annoying. Can I Control Z in here actually? Undo create... Oh no, I can't. Because I turned off the code. If I didn't turn off the code, I could Control Z. Alright, the point is equal false right here, then we want print none is connected. And then right here, we want it to be inside of a while loop. While, right, pin, let's say 15, pin in, pin down, is equal to 0, or is equal to 1. There we go, and then this is going to run until we reset it, and then afterwards what we want is print packet sent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That will be right where we had it.
Yeah, now we run this right here. Should be, yeah, it's blinking, and then we run this one. Okay, that's... I'm assuming what this means that it's connected and then disconnected right away. Well, that's curious.
True. Yeah, it should be in that
I
loop.
think this loop will break, but what do I know?
There we go.
Missing. Right.
But that's bad that, see, look what happened though. You had to run it 3 times for it to get to the packet sent. When you're doing this blind, you don't want it to do that.
But to be fair, also the reason why is because right here I have an equal when it should have been not equal.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I still should check if... Why
Yeah,
am I
try
doing
running
it with
the
a keyboard interrupt if I can just short it properly? Which is 15...
Because that's not more dangerous.
Well, I mean, I don't have a button installed right now, so this is just my version of doing a button.
That's awesome.
Now we run it. There we go. Work on the first try. But to
That's
be fair,
nice.
we need to know
Nice.
more than once, so let me just once again. Quick. Now the restart isn't working. That's great. Maybe because I'm doing it with a diode.
Have you tried flipping it around?
The diode?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it will be incorrectly plugged in.
But-
Into the left side is the ground, right side is the... Is it useful to make your own programming language to learn to do it better and learn about how it works? Well,
You will learn how it works.
if you want to learn how programming languages work, then I would say that's a bit extreme because you need to, it's a bit of a loop, you need to know how programming languages work really well in order to make your own compiler.
Yeah, make a compiler. That will teach you everything. That will teach you.
It's kind of like
Well,
writing your own
It'll certainly
kernel.
teach you what you don't know.
That is kind of like writing your own kernel just to figure out how Linux works. You can do it. It's just that it's a bit of an ambitious goal.
Yeah, I'd say ambitious is a little over the top. A little bit of an understatement. It's a little more than ambitious.
Why not? Make a kernel. One does simply write a kernel. Oh my, just...
Linus Torvalds did it in a cave!
with a bunch of
Spare
scrap!
parts!
I feel like Iron Man is an under-referenced movie in engineering circles. I love making references to that.
My favorite part is how Elon Musk was in Iron Man.
No, that wasn't. That was. I think that was 2, not Iron Man. That was Iron Man 2.
He was in one of them. There's like what,
Big
9?
fan. It's been such a long
Oh, it
time.
was the
since I've
race car.
seen-
Yeah, I think it was the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been such a long time since I've seen those movies. I really need to rewatch them. Okay. I just realized I forgot to add in the diode to see if it works.
This one's sitting right in front of it.
Why am I like this? Okay. Now it's not going to connect. Yup. Oh, it did connect. That's not good, actually. It really should have connected.
Did it say true?
Why did it connect? Oh, it shouldn't have connected. It didn't say true because it executes the program before connecting. Oh, why did it... Oh. So basically, in order for it to connect, right, it needs to execute the program, which means it needs to get into this loop, check the loop, break the loop, then get to this loop, break the loop, and only then it can...
Yeah.
Which is the problem that this shouldn't work. So I suppose I should... Oh, because I was shorting the wrong... No, yeah, I was shorting the right one.
So what happens when you run it?
We shall see.
How would you run assembly on your own computer? Carefully.
How do you run
That's
assembly?
not much of an answer.
You see,
Assembly?
I wouldn't actually recommend writing your own compiler. Don't know answers questions like these. I don't mean to sound elitist here. Far from it. It's just that
There's some required reading.
how should I put this? It's a very basic kind of question. This is something that you would need to know how it works in order for you to start. Because basically, the way you run assembly is simple. You compile it into an executable. My most recent video, if I remember correctly, you would write your program in assembly, then use an assembler to assemble it into an executable, and then you run the executable. But, indeed, because basically what you are trying to do if you're trying to make your own programming language is you are trying to make the program that assembles it into an executable. Which means that if you're trying to make your own programming language, then you would need to know how to assemble assembly into an executable. Which for people who just use programming languages, the answer is simple, use an assembler. But if you want to make one, then you would need to make one, which is way more tricky.
Or to write a program in assembly, you don't even need a computer, all you need is logic gates.
Yes.
And a breadboard. You could literally create the logic. Like my senior exam in electronics when I was a senior in high school was to make 2 7-segment LEDs displays count from 1 to 15. Only using integrated circuits, and the only thing in those integrated circuits were different types of what are those called again?
Gates.
Gates, there you go, gates, thank you. Not, or, and simple stuff.
Why do you need to make your own assembler? Well, class, because if you want to make your own programming language, that's kind of the only thing to make. Well, a compiler, I assume, more than assembler, but still.
Because every CPU has different instruction sets. So you have to write it for the instruction set of the CPU. Because it's made of all these gates in a fundamental hardware level.
Yes.
And so how are you going to speak to it if you don't know its hardware level? It might expect a header. It might expect, certain there might be requirements that the hardware requires that if you just wrote assembly, you're throwing it in there. I mean,
oh, you're giving me flashbacks to implementing maths in assembly. It was a fun
It's like
project.
it's like asking why you need a frame to build a car, or why you need a foundation to
The
build
thing
a house.
is,
It's like it's just ground zero.
It's not really a ground zero. It's a bit deeper than that. Class, what do you think making your own programming language entails? What do you think it means?
it's syntax. You have
Because-
to convert syntax into assembly, which is instruction sets for the CPU.
Exactly,
So
yes.
whatever the central processing unit is, you're converting your custom syntax, which is somewhat readable by normal humans, into the assembly that the instruction sets for the specific CPU that you're writing. That's the minimum requirement for writing a
Here's the
programming.
deal. If you want to make your own programming language, right, then
That
what you,
assumes one.
what you effectively want to do is you want to hear me out. What if my assembly is just Python CPP? You don't actually need to write your compiler in assembly if you don't want. You can write it in everything you want. But let me just explain to you what making your own programming language means. You have two boxes, right? The first box at the top is your programming language. So this is what the programmer actually writes. The bit at the bottom is the CPU. I was gonna screw up one of them. CPU. Oh, aren't you all impressed with the fact that I've actually wrote it backwards and upside down? CPU. That is the bit you have at the bottom. At the top you would have the user. I have a feeling I did the S backwards. No, I didn't. I am incredible. Okay. So, what programming language basically is that a user writes some kind of program right here. And then at the end, what you want to end up with is certain logical instructions that are equivalent to the program at the top. That's how it works. So for example, if I'm using C, I am writing my program in C, which I can read. And then it ends up as actual physical electricity in my CPU that does all of the logic. So how does it end up there? Well, it does end up there because of a compiler. So a compiler is a translator that translates my code into the instructions. And if you want to make your own programming language, this is the thing you make. Because there is nothing else to be made there. This is imposed on you by the rules of the architecture you're using. You cannot change that. And this on its own is completely arbitrary and meaningless. When I say completely arbitrary and meaningless, I mean completely arbitrary and meaningless. It's so arbitrary and meaningless that there have been people out there who have been using callers for this part, not even text. Or an interpreter. Yes, this can be an assembler, this can be a compiler, this can be an interpreter, but it doesn't really matter. If it's an interpreter, then your job is significantly easier, because then you don't need to compile it into an executable, that is true. However, assemblers, it's a bit cheesy, I would say, in my personal opinion, because...
They have their own problems.
Well, it's not...
Well, I mean, like, they're slower.
You
for
will
instance.
not learn much by making an interpreter about programming languages.
Ah, that's what you're getting
Because interpreters are so abstract and so high level that the rules don't really apply, the rules of the architecture don't really apply to them anymore. But can I not just assemble the compiled code into an exe? You can, but if you want to make your own programming language, then that is the whole job, that's your whole job. So, okay, class, what did you think making a programming language would mean? What did you think it meant? I'm going on a bit of a tangent, that's because my most recent video is about this, and that's why I'm in the right mindset to talk about this.
You know, it's funny, when you said class, I thought you meant like the people listening. I didn't know their name was class.
Wait, what did I refer to with class? Oh, class. No, yeah. You know what's even funnier?
Like
You
chat,
said that.
like, hey, chat, that's why I answered that one question.
You know
And
what's-
now I just realized, I was like,
You know
oh,
what's
whoops.
even funnier, Tefta? You just mentioned two different ways I could have used class there, and when you said it, I thought that I've accidentally mentioned like classes in programming.
Yeah, no.
Use the compiler, but why do I need to build the assembler? Well, you need to build the assembler because
it's running assembly in order to make.
I am
Right,
a
it
bit
is
confused by
complete.
that question because, class, listen. This is what you want to make, right? If you just make a compiler, what are you going to compile into? If you want to compile into an executable, then assembler is a part of the process. You can also make something that's called a transpiler, which just translates from one programming language to another. But transpilers have a reputation for being absolutely hated by everyone because they suck. So basically, on like levels of abstraction, the most bottom one is assembly. This is the one that actually takes care of the operations. Then you have a compiler, then you have an interpreter, and then you have a transpiler. So a famous example, I do believe, is TypeScript. That's the one, which is when a bunch of people got together and decided that JavaScript isn't trash enough, so they decided to make it worse. And funny enough, fun little thing to mention there, most of Facebook's engineers you can find on Facebook have all of their GitHub repos written in TypeScript because they are terrible people. So that's just my little...
They work for Facebook. What did you expect?
No, but seriously, industry developers responsible for front ends are so terrible at writing code. It pains me. There is... What's it called? It was bloat? Was that what it's called? I don't remember. There was a term for it. Where basically people add in more code because they don't think if they can delete it. So instead of they just pile it on there, like might as well. Which leads to the sort of thing like function is number being included 10 million times. In NPM.
American developer was here. How can you tell? 300 gigabyte update.
It's not just American developers, it's mostly front-end developers. Those are the ones I blame the most because back-end developers, just for fun, like to challenge. There's like this whole... Back-end developers have the opposite problem, where they like... I know because I have the same problem as well, where they like refuse to add any libraries, no matter what. I'll just implement it myself, and it's terrible. It's also a terrible habit. You need to find a happy medium. On one side of the spectrum, we have the guy who doesn't include any, and I mean any, libraries. On the other side, you have the guy who doesn't delete the is odd function just in case it's useful or does something important.
There's the guy who imports is7.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
there's the guy who doesn't import anything.
Yeah, exactly. Button value is not equal to 1. So maybe it's equal to 1 because this just breaks the loop before it's able.
I want to compile in assembly. Does the assembler change based on the language? I imagine it changes based on the CPU architecture, right?
Okay, so actually, well, that's a very tricky thing because, class, I don't think you quite understand what assembly is. You're asking me questions about assembly, but I don't think you understand quite what it is. Okay, diagram from my video. I should just send you to.
Why don't you just link the video?
I should, yeah, I know, but I'm already streaming. Might as well. From my video, okay, here's how we do it, right, class? We have the code that the user... Actually, let me do it on the side right here because this is convenient. We have the code that the user is writing. This is being translated into assembly, which are the operations that the CPU is performing. This is then getting translated into something that you don't actually need to pay much attention to for now, which is the object file, which then gets translated into the actual operations of the CPU, written in a language that the CPU can understand. Assembly is this part right here. This right here, okay? So this is the programming language, which then gets translated into the operations that the CPU is performing, written in a human readable language. That gets translated into operations that the CPU can perform, written in a non-human readable language, and then that's getting translated into operations that CPU can perform, written in language that CPU can understand. This is the pipeline, which the one I mostly would use would be C assembly object file executable. And if you want to write your own programming language, then you need to get from here to here. And at some point in the process, you will need to translate your programming language into the operations of the CPU, because otherwise the CPU will have no idea what you're asking it to do.
And I thought of a better analogy than a house or a car to be a lathe. It's like you're trying to build a lathe from scratch.
Yeah, how you gonna spin the things?
Well, exactly. So it's like building a lathe from scratch because it itself is used to make other tools, and that's the problem about building a tool.
Well, to be fair, we do have it easier because it's easy. You know, if you're building a compiler, you're gonna compile it using a compiler. Like, if I remember correctly, my favorite fact about the GNU C compiler was that it was made in C actually. So, which came first, chicken or the egg kind of scenario. Is assembly inside the exe. Assembly is just the operations that the CPU can perform written in human readable text. Which means text that you can read, that is telling you step by step what the CPU is doing. Then that is translated into text that you cannot longer read as a human, that is basically saying all the operations that the CPU is doing, that then gets translated into the code that CPU can actually execute, the actual ones and zeros, electricity, bits and bobs. So if you want to go from here to here, first you need to come up with syntax for your programming language, which is the by far easiest part. Then you need to figure out a way to turn that, then you need to figure out a way to turn that syntax into operations that the CPU can perform. There's a limited amount of them and they are predetermined. And then the most awful part at the end, you need to figure out a way to get from here to here, which means you need to delve into the architecture and figure out how actually all the code is getting executed. But then will I need to support any different CPU one by one? Not quite. Yes, you are correct that architecture will determine a lot. Architecture will be important. However, with, like, how should I put this? x64, that's the name of the architecture that computers are using. And basically any CPU with an x64 architecture, which basically means any of them, should support your code. But if I am not mistaken, actually, you will need to... That is only because of the kernel, which means that's only because of the Linux and Windows. Which means right here at the bottom, you will not only need to delve into the architecture limitations of the CPU, but you will also need to do a deep dive into operating systems to figure out how they operate and what requirements they have for running the program. Oh, because it's while, I'm an idiot.
Oops.
Finally figure out which logic should be. That took me long enough.
Almost died in Satisfactory.
You're playing Satisfactory?
Nope. Yeah, they now have hypertube splitters.
Yeah, and vertical split as well, if I remember correctly.
But they really messed up the clipping stuff. It's kind of broken.
By the way, Quasar offered to make a Factorio server for us.
Ooh. Dang it, I did it again, and I'm gonna die. Yep, I'm dead.
See if it's gonna
I just created a death machine. A hypertube with a really high top, and then the splitter just shoots you out one side. Should have thought about that.
Don't you love it when you need to manually connect two pins in order to restart your Raspberry? The syntax, I have some ideas. Yeah, but the syntax is by far the easiest part, and it's not even close. Like, imagine you want to build a car, right? Syntax is like picking the paint color. What is the difference between a human readable language and non-readable language? I am so glad you asked, Gotha, because I can just provide you an example. But first, I need to... I'm just gonna disconnect it. So glad because I can provide you with an example. That's because I have a compiler. So, right here we're gonna have an example. here we have our code, which I just compiled into an executable. And if we run this executable, we get back test. Simple as it could be. Then, what we can do is, I don't remember what the flag for it was, so give me a second. I need to. Then what we can do is, instead of compiling, actually I can show you all the parts of the process. Compile and assemble. There we go. So that is our executable. Another thing we can do is we can instead. I reject it. Instead, we can compile it into assembly. I'm sorry, why didn't it work? There we go. This is the human readable processor operations I've mentioned, but the unreadable ones would look like this. I can open a text editor. There we go. Human unreadable code. It looks really odd, but that's mainly because, well, you're not meant to display it, and instead you would normally read it with a hex editor. So here you can see all of the code in number form. So, as a quick recap, this is our top, which is the syntax. Then the next one is this one, which is the assembly. Then this object right here would be this object right here, and then the exe would be this at the bottom. You can see this one is significantly larger. That is step by step how, and so when I do the GCC compile, like so, then what it's basically doing is it's first turning this code into this code, then into this code, then into this. Step by step, like so. Anyway, I can't understand it. Can you understand if you know how to transcribe it? Well, you can, but the basic idea is that it's so complicated that we call the programming languages human readable code. What if you don't know how to spread the code theoretically you could read it? Yes, theoretically you could read it, but it's not practical. Hence why we divide it into the human readable code and not human readable code. It's kind of like, you know, when you have a JPEG, right, an image, then if you look at the image, you know what the image is showing. But if you instead just read the bytes, then you could theoretically get back the information of what the image is of. What's the difference between step 3 and 4? These two at the bottom? This one is just a very efficiently stored program, whereas this one is the program ready for execution. So it's all because they're divided based on their usage. So halfway down the middle, here's where we bridge the gap of human readability, which means these two at the top you can work with in a text editor, and you can just edit them easily. Then we lose the human readability, we only get bits and bytes. However, the difference between these two is that with this, compilers can still work easily. Right here they struggle. So if I have two different executables, I cannot combine them. If I have two different object files, I can combine them. That's the difference between the two at the bottom. So right here is where casual programmers can still operate. Right here is only where expert programmers can operate. Right here is where compilers can only operate. And right here is where no one can operate. Once you get to this point, executable is finished and it's basically impossible to edit it in any way or form. Technically, you do have stuff like Ghidra, which can like reverse engineer an executable. But editing an executable is not recommended, to say the least. It is not something you should do at all.
How to turn your $2,000 PC into a bomb.
I mean, no, because like operating systems exist specifically for that reason, right? To stop that from happening. What's funny is that on most operating systems, even if you tried to screw it up software-wise, the operating system just won't let you. And it's actually really, really difficult, if not impossible, for you to break a machine just software size. software side, because there are even like this is the insane part. There are hardware securities, which is maddening. Like CPUs, for example, sometimes have, well, not sometimes, I imagine always, have like memory protection. So you cannot write them, you cannot read the memory, you're not allowed to read. And like the CPU itself won't let you do that. The hardware CPU. So that's not something you can change with software. It's honestly quite
Literally
incredible.
1984.
Because I know, because I've tried reading a bunch of memory in the past just to, because I was curious what's there.
This is why you should invest in a Commodore 64.
I have to save Pico boot. Oh, I disconnected. I'm exhausted again. Hold on, I'll be right back. Give me a second. Oh. Can you believe, by the way, that this is only one of the 3 things I was supposed to do on stream today? And I can't even manage that. Well, I really need to do it off camera with just 2 laptops. Oh, my computer and laptop. That'd be quite annoying. Where do we go from here? We can connect both of them together, but we're running out of ideas on how to troubleshoot them. Let's change the code a bit right here. So that it flashes LED. It's connected. I beg to differ. I really beg to differ.
I was gonna suggest to do like a ton of sleeps in between each line, and then like connect LEDs to each pin and have it like blink each LED when it's on that line, pretty much, or after it's passed from one line to the next.
Yeah, but we don't actually care about every single line pass. The pickle is not where we are in the code. That's pretty easy to figure out. This one blinks in rhythm already of the code. And in this one, it doesn't really matter because the loop is just, like, this is the loop, but this is just a debug message. This is just sleep, so we don't care. And both of these, the only difference between them is that one of them is sending a 0, the other one is sending a 1. So they're effectively the same operation from our perspective. The pickle is that we would like to get the date back. So we would like to know... I'm thinking right now, because I have a couple of screens, and as idiotic as it is, it could genuinely be easier to just like connect a screen to this, and then just try to figure it out from there. As idiotic as it sounds. And it does sound idiotic. Yeah, I think I'm losing it. This is the 3rd stream in a row when this has defeated me, by the way. 3rd. Number 3. Tress. I'm done. I promise you, by the start of the next stream, I'm gonna have these two connected.
And he never streamed again.
Just 5 more streams. No. I'm going to. I refuse to be defeated by 2 pieces of plastic and metal. I'm going to.
And glass.
And a bunch of other stuff as well. I'm going to go now, and I will keep on chugging coffee and will not rest until they can talk to each other. But yeah.
Did you see the dragon that I made?
Which dragon?
The paper one, the tiny one.
Oh, the oregano. Yeah, it looks really good. It's impressive. So small. My goodness.
Yeah, don't do that while driving.
I like the steering wheel. Nice touch. Anyway, everyone, that was fun. I'm off. I'm done. I'm exhausted. That's it. And for now, that'll be it. Thank you everyone so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.